Welcome everyone to a level 3 Starbase guide. In this guide we're gonna talk about some new stuff. As we can see, we have new buildings, new turret, and we have our own red bunker right now. And speaking of new buildings, these are the additional buildings that are available to us at level 3 Starbase. This is how far we can upgrade each building at level 3 Starbase. So in terms of unit capacity, we don't have an additional warp gate, but we are able to upgrade our warp gates once more. So if we go to our military section, we're gonna see that we have one new building. This one is called Starport. What Starport does is that it trains flying units, and as we can see, we have a new unit available in our Starport. This one is called Wasp. Basically, to give you guys a quick idea of what Wasp does, it is basically a flying marine. It attacks anything and it has no priorities whatsoever. But in terms of power, Wasps are not really that strong, even though they might seem like they are. But the huge downside of Wasps is that they don't necessarily have huge damage or huge HP. But the important part to pay attention to is that they cost a bit more than they should. So in terms of that, they are not really efficient. But if you want to have them in your bunkers, it's great because at this level, people don't usually attack with units that are good at dealing with flying units. So for example, if we have Wasps in our bunkers, that means that enemy is not gonna be that great at dealing with Wasps because they are flying units, and only real good unit to deal with Wasps is either Wasps themselves or bazookas. And as we know, bazookas have really small HP, and I know that bazookas can shoot before Wasps engage with them, but generally at this level, Wasps are so strong that it is always beneficial to have at least some of them in your bunker. Another new building that we are able to build at level 3 Starbase is Laboratory. So when we go to our lab, we're gonna see that we have a bunch of units right here, and actually if we take a look at it, we're gonna see that it is a full list of the units available to us at any point. So the units that are locked, those are basically units that are available later on at higher levels, and the units that you're seeing that are unlocked, those are units that are upgraded and the units that are available to us right now. So for example, if we take a look at our Marine, we're gonna see that our Marine is level 3 right now, and what we do in our lab is that we upgrade units. To upgrade a unit, it's gonna take you some minerals and some time, obviously, and you're gonna notice that the weaker the unit is, less resources and less time it takes. For example, my Marine will take somewhere around 11,000 minerals to be upgraded to level 4, and it's gonna take about 5 hours, whereas our Strikes is gonna take significantly more resources and more time to be upgraded to the next level. So from now on, we're gonna notice that Laboratory is gonna be main building that is gonna be using most of our minerals. By the way, some people might ask whether you should upgrade every single unit or not, or which units you should prioritize and if there is a priority. So the TLDR of that is that, yeah, you should upgrade every single unit, especially the ones that are better or the ones that you prefer to use. But what I like to do is that I want to prioritize upgrading my Marines to level 6. So right now we are only able to upgrade our Marines to level 3. At the next level, at level 4 Starbase, we are gonna be able to upgrade our Marines to level 6 and later on to level 7. I'm not gonna talk about the medals just yet, how we can get level 7 units, because that is for the next episode, but we're gonna be doing that in the future for sure, so stay tuned for that. Once we take a look at our turrets, we're gonna see that we have an additional sniper turret unlocked, an additional cannon blast, and we have a new turret. This one is called Laser Tower. What this turret does is that it is able to attack any unit, whether it is on the ground or flying. This turret is also a bit more powerful than any other turret that is available to us right now. As we can see, the attack range of this turret is somewhat mediocre. It is a bit below the range of sniper turrets, but it is a bit higher than cannon blasts. If we go to our defenses section, we're gonna see that instead of 5 traps, we have 10 now. That is double the amount. The damage of the traps, however, does not change. We just have more traps available to us. In terms of walls, we have 60 wall pieces instead of 30, so that is double the amount as well. Also, we are able to upgrade our walls to level 2. The difference between level 1 and level 2 walls is that level 2 walls have a bit more HP. The benefit of upgrading walls is that when enemy approaches your building, whatever building you wanna protect with walls, is that it's gonna take the enemy a bit longer to destroy your wall and damage your actual building that they wanna destroy. At this level, you still are gonna be somewhat coin deprived until you build your army and like have some sort of income. So even though upgrading walls is really good. It is always better to invest your coins into upgrading something more important, such as cannons and other buildings that you need to progress through the game, which is often a good reason why people stop upgrading walls at some point, because it takes a lot of your coins and you just won't have enough coins to upgrade so many things at once. So some of you guys might wanna know which units are better to put in your bunker. Well, it actually depends. Obviously, we have units that are better than the others because they are more situational, or they are overall better, or they're efficient, or like there is always some reason why those units are better than the others. At this level, we have about 2 choices. So assuming we have every single available unit unlocked, we should have somewhat of a mix of wasps and beetle tanks. The reason why I wanna have wasps is that if enemy has really strong army and they are attacking your base and they're basically destroying every single building and they're not able to attack your wasps, such as if they have bunch of beetle tanks or strikes or whatever, basically if you have wasps in your bunkers, they're gonna come out and the enemy is never gonna be able to destroy your wasps. Even if they have really strong army, if they're not able to attack your flying units, then whether you're weaker or not, you can just keep killing enemy units because they cannot attack you back, which gives you an edge over the enemy's units, which forces the enemy to have units that are able to deal with your wasps, because there is the benefit of flying units. They might be a bit weaker, but just because they're flying, many units are not able to attack flying units. So there is the benefit of having some wasps in your bunkers. Obviously, we want to have bunch of wasps because, as I mentioned before, if enemy has bunch of bazookas, and even if they have beetle tanks and you can just one-shot the beetle tanks with your wasps, once you go to bazookas, if the enemy has a huge amount of bazookas at the same spot, you just cannot deal with that amount of bazookas with your wasps because they are not meant to be good at killing bazookas. Even though one-on-one they are better, but the enemy is just able to have more bazookas than you have wasps, so he would lose that battle, which is where our beetle tanks come in. Beetle tanks are really good at dealing with bazookas, and they can often 2-shot any sort of bazooka at this level, or at worst 3-shot, and still that makes our beetle tanks really good against bazookas, which are good against our wasps, and if we can have this combo of these 2 units, we're gonna be really good. So if you're wondering what base design you should go for, then let me tell you that there are still not a lot of designs that you can go for at this level. Yes, we do have our own bunker right now and an additional turret, but that doesn't really give us that many choices. So if you look at this design, we're gonna see that some of my buildings are not quite well defended, but just to make it simple for you and to explain you what should be defended and what should be prioritized, then let me tell you that you should always defend your warp gates. Warp gates are the buildings that store your units. If your warp gates die, the units inside them die as well, so it is really important for you to defend every single warp gate. Another important building for us to defend is our banks. Our banks are basically the storage of our coins. Depending on your bank's level, that's gonna define how much coin capacity it's gonna have and how many coins the enemy is gonna be able to loot if they do destroy your building. So as we are seeing in the background, this is just me attempting to come up with some different designs, the designs that I saw people use. Like, these designs are not necessarily the best, but these are variations of the designs that work or that can work, and even if they are situational, like, you can come up with many designs that follow the same rules. You have to protect what's most important, such as banks and compact houses and even your starbase plus the warp gates, and you want to prioritize putting walls around the buildings that are either turrets or bunkers, because that is #1 priority for you to defend, so that those buildings can defend your other buildings such as banks, etc. And I included all the designs that I was able to come up with, and I'm also gonna show the designs that are prioritizing defending the buildings that are more important, and I'm also gonna show the designs that are only defending what's important and ignoring everything else. Mines are not really that important to defend because you always be able to farm minerals, and if you are low on minerals, nothing really happens. You just wait for your army, you train some units, and no matter what, you're always gonna have some income of minerals because you barely use any minerals at all when you're attacking. But in order to attack, you need to have some amount of coins stored. Say for example, if you fail your attack, or I don't know, someone attacks you and takes some resources from you, if you are really low on coins, that is often really bad because especially if you're in a war, like in an alliance war or something, it is kinda early right now, but in case you decided to do alliance wars at this level, you know, just in general, even if it's not alliance war or whatever, you never wanna be really low on coins. Just make sure that you have some amount of coins left, even if you wanna upgrade some important buildings such as Starbase or like, I don't know, any other building such as turret or bunker or whatever. Just make sure that you have some coins left in your storage. So finally, we made it to this section where we're gonna talk about the attacking and our offensive power. Well, it hasn't really changed at all compared to level 2 Starbase. We have the same combo, just around the same amount of units that we were able to have. So in terms of attacking power, nothing has changed actually. The only thing that is different is that we are able to upgrade our battle tanks and bazookas by 1 level, which makes them a bit more powerful, but that is just a really small power increase over what we already had. And that small of a power increase is really not enough for it to be a decider whether we are able to deal with something new, something stronger that we were not able to deal with before at level 2 Starbase. If you want any other units, then I don't know, like we don't really have any choices right now. We are still really locked in terms of what we are able to use and what is good, so we just have to stick with the same combo, use battle tanks and bazookas, or just spam bunch of bazookas and just try to snipe as many resources as you can from players that are not defending their buildings really well. And that's initially what you're gonna be doing here. You're gonna be mastering the art of how to snipe resources with bazookas. And you're gonna notice that at higher levels, you're gonna come back to this strategy where you use bunch of bazookas from time to time. And no matter how high level you are, bazookas are really strong and really efficient. And using bazookas is never a mistake. You always wanna have one colony where you are able to train bunch of bazookas. And whether it is a target finder or some random enemy that you attack, if you don't have your main army ready, just make sure that you have at least one base where you have bunch of bazookas and maybe a few battle tanks just in case, and you can use that army. And trust me, if you master this art of using bazookas the right way, maybe you're gonna have small amounts of resource income every day over and over and over, but that amount that you're basically getting for free for playing right and using your units right and in a smart way as well, you're gonna gain a lot of resources for free. And yeah, that's basically all of the guide. Level 3 Starbase is not that different from level 2. Even though we have new buildings, the idea is the same because we are using the same unit combo. The only difference now is that we have a bunker that we're able to put our units in to bolster our defense, and we have a new turret. But for the most part, everything's the same. We're just able to upgrade our units just a bit to make them a bit stronger, but the initial goal and the idea is still the same. So I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Stay tuned and I'm gonna see you guys very soon. Bye bye.